2024 is shaping up to be a pretty interesting year for the Nintendo Switch, because despite the fact that Nintendo are continuously announcing new games we can expect for the console, the rumors about there being a Nintendo Switch 2 are stronger than ever. And at this point, it could literally just be a matter of months until Nintendo unveil their brand new console. So here's the top 10 Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 games I can't wait to see in 2024. We're going to start though with a cheeky honorable mention, and that's Haunted Chocolatier. Now this is an honorable mention, not because I'm not looking forward to it, because I most definitely am, but I'm not convinced it's coming in 2024, but I'm going to hold out hope just in case. For those who might not know, Haunted Chocolatier is the next game set to be released by the Stardew Valley creator Concerned Ape. And considering how much of a staple Stardew Valley has become to gamers across the world, many of us, including myself, are hyped to see what he's got planned in his very next game. This is an RPG simulation game where you play as a chocolatier living in a haunted castle. And in order to run your chocolate shop each and every day, you need to gather ingredients and make the chocolate yourself. I love the fact that despite this not being an actual farming sim, there are some very similar aspects to Stardew Valley. Like again, it's based in a town where you can get to know the townspeople. He's also alluded to the game having multiple different ways to achieve your goals, like in Stardew Valley how you can either go the bundles route or the Joja route, and you'll even be able to set up a similar daily routine at a chocolate shop rather than being a farm. That being said, this is very specifically said to be an action RPG, so expect there to be a bit more of a focus on combat than Stardew Valley had. Either way, I'm really excited, and honestly the fact that it's not a farming sim is making me even more hyped for it, because we've had a lot of those recently and I'm ready for a bit of a change. Now on to the top 10. All of these games have been 100% confirmed to be coming in 2024, and we're going to start off with a very strong one, which is Paper Mario: The 1000-Year Door. Now I'm going to be honest, I haven't actually played a Paper Mario game before, but I am very excited for this to be my very first one. Paper Mario: The 1000-Year Door was first released in 2004 on the GameCube and was a critical hit with players and reviewers alike. And since then, it's long been named one of the best Mario RPGs of all time, thanks to its witty writing, incredible story, and its spin on the classic mechanics thanks to being, well, paper thin. And although we haven't seen a whole lot of the game so far, it's clear from the trailers that this remake has had a lot of love poured into it, as it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a game I've heard a lot of incredible things about, and I've always been really sad to have missed out on it, so I'm very glad they're bringing it back. It does make me think though, if they're going to go to the trouble of bringing this back to the Switch, could they not have brought Wind Waker as well? Next, we have Moonstone Island. This indie game is already out on PC, and ever since it released, it has been taking the world by storm, and it will be coming to the Switch in spring next year. This is a creature collecting life sim that is an absolute pleasure to play. It sees you leave home for the first time to an island in the sky by yourself to finish your alchemy training. And after a slight crash landing, you wind up near a little town, who immediately welcome you in with open arms. And not only do the villagers want to help you out with your alchemy quest, you can also befriend and even romance them as well. This life sim aspect to me is what Pokemon has been missing for the longest time. Although Pokemon is an incredible monster collecting game, the world just feels like it's missing something by the fact that there's no life sim aspects in it whatsoever. And Moonstone Island really sets out to fix this. Of course, there's way more to this game than just the town though, as once you set up your house and your little farm to go with it, you can start exploring. And because it's procedurally generated, each world is unique to your playthrough, with over 100 islands filled with sprites you can battle and tame, and even Zelda-like dungeons to explore. If you're a lover of ooblets, then I definitely think this game will be your vibe, as it has a very similar card-based battle mechanic to go alongside of it, but I personally love the fact that the battling never feels overwhelming or like it's too large of a portion of the game, as there's so much else you can do that isn't just monster catching. Moonstone Island is also already receiving a ton of DLCs and updates to go alongside of it, so by the time it reaches the Switch, there is going to be so much content. I've been enjoying this game on my Steam Deck, and I think it will be perfectly at home on the Switch as well. Then on March 22nd, we have Princess Peach Showtime. It took 18 years for Peach to return in her very own game, but oh boy does this look like a fantastic way for her to return. The thing that really made this stand out to me is how the entire game happens in a theatre and takes place over an entire play. So the gameplay is done with different backdrops, costume changes, and there seems to be a different set theme for different areas as you take on the Wicked Grape and the Sour Bunch. I adore the aesthetic of the cardboard cutout props, the different abilities you gain from your outfit changes. This just looks to be a lot of fun and has a lot of character to it, and I honestly can't wait to see what they do with the concept. I just hope we get to see a little bit more about this game before it comes out, as I'm very excited and I feel like we don't know a whole lot yet. Either way though, I am so ready to play it. Next is Another Code, and although this is another remake, it's a game I'm very excited for. You play as Ashley, who gets a letter from her father. The only issue is, she's long since believed that her father had passed away, so she decides to set off in search of him. This will see you solve riddles, gather clues, and investigate Ashley's past to try and figure out what happened between her parents. And although this will be filled with puzzles that you need to figure out, items to examine, and gathering information from all of the locals, you'll also find a mansion with a mysterious ghost named Dee. And not only does this remake have better visuals than the original, this also has newly added voice acting as well to add to the cutscenes even more. This collection also includes the second game as well, which is set 2 years after the events of Another Code. Again, this follows Ashley, but this time she's on a camping trip, when things take an unexpected turn as she starts to get flashbacks of her mother. I love this mix between classic mystery game elements with a heavy story focus with a lot of beautiful cutscenes. I honestly think this is going to be a fantastic game, and thankfully we don't even have to wait long as it's coming out on the 19th of January. Next up is the Plucky Squire. The Plucky Squire follows Jot and his friends, a bunch of storybook characters, as they discover the 3D world that awaits them outside of the storybook pages. The only issue is, not only did they leave the story, but so did Hump Grump, the villain of the book, who, once outside of the book, flicked to the end to find out that this was a battle he was destined to lose. So instead of accepting this fate, Hump Grump kicks Jot out of the book and changes the story and their fate forever. So this leaves it up to Jot to restore the happy ending by jumping between the 2 and 3D worlds and save his friends. I think for me, the part I'm the most excited about is to see how they can creatively use this switch between 2D and 3D for really clever puzzles. But honestly, I love the look of this game. I'm just a little bit worried about how it will run on the Switch, but maybe it will be a Switch 2 game? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up is Fantasy Life, which is coming summer 2024. Now, even though this is releasing a whole year after they initially said they were going to release it, you know what? I'm not mad. Because do you know what other life sim ended up releasing a little bit later than they told us it was going to come? Animal Crossing. And things seem to work out pretty well for that, so I have high hopes. Fantasy Life looks to be everything I want from a life sim and so much more, as alongside all the life simmy things you can do like decorating, gathering, fishing and farming, is an entire storyline that sees you journey between 2 points in time 1,000 years apart, all in the hopes of trying to save the world. At a time where life and farming sims are starting to feel a little bit the same, this does a lot to set it apart other than just the story. The biggest of which is what they call jobs, which is effectively 14 different classes you can chop and change between, where you can level them up and learn different skills as you go, allowing you to pick anything from fighting classes, typical farming sim-like jobs, or creative jobs such as cooking, alchemy, and more. And I love the fact that when you don't feel like going and doing the story, you can spend your time rebuilding and decorating the town yourself by placing items, terraforming, and doing so much more. I think for me, the reason I'm looking forward to this the most is, as much as I love life sims, I like a reason to play life sims, and I think this is really going to deliver on that. Again, the question arises though, is this going to be Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2? I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. Next, we have Paper Trail. This is a puzzle game that's been on my mind from the moment I learned about it. And that's simply because of its really cool concept. You play as Paige, who leaves home for the first time to pursue her studies. And even though she only exists in the pages of this book, you do not. So you're free to help her on her way by manipulating and folding the pages. And as you help Paige along with her journey, she'll meet people who will tell you the tales of their lives, and you'll learn a little bit more about this world as you go. These puzzles are truly unlike anything I've experienced before, and although it took me a little bit of time to get my head around them, the puzzles were so rewarding and so much fun. I just love the idea that this isn't just a straight up puzzle game, which it easily could have been, but instead they've mixed in a narrative and a story alongside of it. Unfortunately, we've got no specific release date on the Switch as of yet, but we do know it's coming sometime next year. Then we have Little Kitty Big City. If you're sad that GTA 6 isn't coming out till 2025, then this might be the perfect game to tide you over, as this is essentially the exact same idea, but instead you terrorize humans by just being a cat. This will see you travel across the city to try and make your way home, whilst getting incredibly distracted along the way and most likely forgetting that that's the whole purpose of the game. I played the demo earlier this year and I had such a fun time discovering what cat-related surprises there were in the world. Like, you could push things off of ledges, you could get your mucky paws over stuff, and you could even dress the cat up in hats. Each of the different areas are not only filled with surprises, but also kind of like puzzles in order for you to progress. But honestly, the part I was enjoying the most was literally just annoying the humans as a cat. It brought me so much joy, and I think this is going to be a game of pure serotonin. Then we have a game which is the complete opposite vibe, as it will probably have you sobbing from beginning to end. But honestly, sometimes you just need a good cry. This is Neva. As soon as I saw that this game was made by the same developers who made Grizz, I knew we were in for something special. The art style and the vibe of this entire game is truly immaculate. Grizz held so much of its power in its music, and I feel as though Neva will be carrying on this legacy, as proven by the number of comments saying that the trailer alone managed to make them cry. This follows the story of Alba, who is forced to journey with a young wolf cub through a once beautiful world that is now decaying all around them. And as the journey progresses, you get to see the cub grow and become an adult, all the while helping one another with the dangers that await them around every single corner, and seeing them do whatever it takes to keep each other safe, survive, and make a new home. And to me, I just love the power that these sorts of games hold without a single word of dialogue. I know this is gonna emotionally ruin me, but honestly, I can't wait. The final game on today's list is Bandle Tale. Now, I know literally nothing about League of Legends, but as soon as I saw this, I knew I needed this. You play as a Yordle, a race of spirits who take the form of two-legged animals. And if them being cute wasn't enough for you, the whole game is based around their obsession with knitting. You play as a shy Yordle living in Yarnville, but after your 101 year-long apprenticeship comes to an end, you begin to wonder what lies beyond the portal in the town that you've never gone through. But that was until one night when a party that you're at goes horribly wrong, causing the portal and everything around it to be thrown into absolute chaos. So it becomes up to you and your knitting magic to try and restore the portals. This will have 5 different islands for you to explore, and alongside the story there'll be a ton of life sim elements like festivals, farming, cooking and crafting to keep you busy. And this is described as being a crafting RPG. So not only do you get all the fun of the life sim elements, but it's also very story driven as well. Now, unfortunately, it has no release date as of yet. We just know it's coming sometime in 2024 on the Switch. I'm just interested to see if this will be so good that it tempts me to try and play LOL. Probably not, but you never know. That's it for my top picks of games coming out in 2024. If I've missed out any of your favorites, comment them down below. And if you want to see the best Nintendo Switch games picked by you, click this video here.